Hey, do you like to read? Of course you don't. It's 2022. Nobody likes to read. But if you do like to read, I have a couple suggestions for you. First, we have Rise of the Deadman, the first chapter in the Win Alone series, written by yours truly, Chancey Ploffman. And you've got the second book, Battle of the Ben Sheedy, the second in the series, also written by yours truly, Chancey Ploffman. Where can you find these books? You can find them on Amazon.com. You can get the paperback version or the e-version. Now, I know, it's a tough sell, right? Nobody likes to read in 2022. But what if I told you can hear it from the 2021 NFCA National Pitcher of the Year, the 2021 SEC Tournament MVP, and three-time Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year, Montana Fouts.
I hope that you had the best birthday and your book ad. I'm so excited to read them. So congratulations on everything. Roll Tide.
So once again, that's Rise of the Deadman and Battle of the Ben Sheedy, both available now. Check them out.
All right. Was that kind of cool or was that lame? I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell from your reaction. You're going to have to let me know if that was cool or lame or not. But I don't know. It's just something I thought I'd put together and just say, hey, let's have some fun here. So, yeah, there you go. That's something different to open the video with. Okay, we are here for first predictions for the Golden Globes and Screen Actors Guild nominations. So, with this, I'll a couple things before to get out of the way before we get started. First of all, I have not touched these in like a week and a half. So as I'm looking through, I might make some live changes while we're going through them because I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, that's not where that was like a week ago. So, so I might have to change that. Second of all, very interesting how NBC kind of agrees. Okay, Globes, you've paid your pittance. We'll finally let you be back on the air. I guess there's no press conferences, which I guess was the decision from the HFPA. I guess. I don't know. I read that a little bit, and then I didn't look into it any further. But yeah, I'm guessing the HFPA just said, no, we're not going to allow the stars that win to just totally bat us down and stuff. Nobody obviously did any acceptance speeches last year. It was more like, hey, we just announced who the winners were and moved on. But very interesting, though, that they're back on TV, and now finally you go to something like Gold Derby, which is my go-to for how to like organize predictions and kind of where everything else is at. And IndieWire is my second one. I think those two together for like odds making and stuff, those are the two I go to for that. Very interesting. Now you could predict them at Gold Derby, but you couldn't do it last year. Last year I had to do it all on my own and project where each film was going to be category-wise and stuff, and that was a little strange. We got it done. We got there, but it was okay. Not great, but hey, I did it on my... I had nothing to go off of, so what are you going to do? Anyways, we'll start with the Globes here. As we all know, the Globes do break down drama films and then comedy musicals in another corner. They separate them off so that they get their own categories and stuff in the lead acting categories and also in film. So with that, we'll start with the drama stuff, at least for Best Picture drama. We'll start with that. Fabelmans is going to be my front runner here at first, at least. Being a film about movie making, this is the Hollywood Foreign Press. So we always say, like, movies like that tend to do well, so it makes sense for Fabelmans to kind of be that. Plus, it's my general front runner for the year right now for basically everything, so there you go. Women Talking, I think, is in second place. Top Gun Maverick, I'm putting in third. Remember Mad Max Fury Road, for some of us, for me, surprised at the Globes by getting a director nomination and a picture nomination. As I recall, it did not get anything else, but yeah. That's that one. The Whale I have in fourth, and She Said, because of the journalism stuff, I have that in fifth place. By the way, She Said comes in at about 81% on Rotten Tomatoes last I checked. Generally speaking, from the reactions from the New York Film Festival, it didn't seem like way too many people were wowed by it. Most critics were like, it was good, or it was really good. But I really didn't hear anybody that was like enthusiastic about it. And not too many that were like, this is not good. There were some people that were like, hey, it's a little too soon. Even this week we've seen some of the Harvey Weinstein trial stuff kind of getting going and stuff. So, or the last week and a half, I guess. But still, it's like a, hey, maybe kind of deal, which is a little strange because, I was thinking in my head all through the season here so far, I'm like, this is kind of All the President's Men, which came out, what was it, basically not even 2 years after Watergate. And that got a boatload of nominations and won like 3 or 4 Oscars. So I don't know. Maybe that's just not going to be the one. So I have that in fifth place. Sixth place, if there were a sixth place, I would say Tar. Tar is probably the first one to get in. It's done very well at the box office so far in its limited run. I should be able to see it in the next week or two. It should come to my area. Yeah, I've still been really lazy with seeing stuff. I haven't seen basically anything since Thor. Yeah, I've been lame. But anyways, The Woman King I would not totally dismiss yet. Even though its box office has been okay, critics' ratings have been really good. It seemed it had its flash in the pan early, and now it's like every day I hear less and less about it. I still think it's got a good shot at landing a nomination here in the actress category for drama, and we'll get to that one soon enough here. But for picture, I wouldn't totally dismiss it yet. Then there's one here, Elvis, which I'm a little shaky on whether or not that's going to end up in this category or if it'll switch over to comedy musical. And I always say for films like this that are on the edge, like Bohemian Rhapsody, even though they proved me wrong, or Rocketman, which did go over to comedy musical, because I believe that one was starting in the drama category as well. Memory might not serve me 100% on that, but I thought that one started as a drama, then they moved it over to comedy musical. And I think to great results. Even though Taron Egerton did not end up getting nominated for Best Actor, I put him in foolishly at the last minute. His Golden Globe win for sure lifted that film up, and some people, including some of us, thought that one could end up with like 4 or 5 nominations that morning. It only got the one for song, but still, generally I felt getting him that win I thought was still the right move strategically. It just didn't pan out. Then you have Bo Rap on the opposite end, which I always thought, I'm like, you are shooting yourself in the fucking foot by putting that in drama. I remember I almost 4 years to the day now, probably, that we figured out it was going drama. I was like, you guys are morons. And I think A Star Is Born was also drama and was potentially going to be comedy musical, but they switched it to drama, and I was like, man, you just lost everything. But I don't think Star Is Born won anything except for song at the Globes that year. Remember, I had Lady Gaga to win Best Actress, but drama, but it ended up going to Glenn Close. And Bo Rap, I did not have for picture, but it ended up winning. And I don't think I had it for actor drama either, as I recall. But yeah, the past is the past, so let's move on. But Bo Rap, pulled off that Best Picture drama win. Elvis, having not seen it, I can't 100% say whether or not this is the right choice, but it seems to be in the drama category right now. If it ends up there, we'll see. Then again, the year of Rocketman and stuff, I was like, the comedy musical categories I thought was kind of, there was room for something like Rocketman to get there. Bohemian Rhapsody, I remember that year in comedy musical, I'm like, Bo Rap can do very well there. But, it ended up doing just fine in drama, so we'll see if that is the same fate for Elvis as well. For some other stuff I can get in at the Globes here on the drama side, Empire of Light, it seems to be shrinking in the Best Picture race overall, but there's a chance with a known director, a pretty known cast, that could end up just really wowing enough voters in the HFPA, even though they are expanding their membership this year by a lot. It could just wow enough of them that it actually gets a nomination or two, and Best Picture drama could be one of them. I would say Avatar: The Way of Water. Don't forget, the first Avatar was a Best Picture drama winner and director winner here at the Globes. It won over The Hurt Locker. The Sun, I would say, is also one, even though it really did not do well at those festival screenings. Again, there might be enough voters out there that are like, hey, that's my movie. Then they like it, and they might put it in. And I would say Till. Till is definitely one that, as it starts to open here, and critically it's continued to do extremely well. That could be one that maybe, not even just at the Globes or maybe at the Oscars, maybe that could be kind of like The Post, kind of like The Blind Side, and I think there's one other example that I'm missing right now. That could be one that gets an acting nomination and Best Picture and nothing else. That's a real possibility now I think we have to look at for that one. We'll see how it does in its continued run there. We'll see if it can maybe land something at... I'm trying to think here. Producers Guild would be a huge boost for that one. Critics' Choice picture nomination would be a big boost. Obviously, anything from the Globes here outside of Best Actress drama would be great for it. Let's see. Anything else I want to name here? Probably, I would say that's about it. Other than maybe Black Panther, if that one does come through. And again, that's another one. Black Panther got a nomination in film drama. So don't be totally shocked if that one comes through. Okay, for the comedy musical categories, I feel like there's 4 sure bets, and then there's a wild card kind of slot here. Right now on the surface, you have 4 pretty easy picks here. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once. Again, it's angling in the comedy musical category. I feel that's probably where it ends up. But again, that one has a shot to be shunted over to drama. If it does, then yeah, say goodbye to Like She Said or possibly The Whale and a couple of those other ones getting in. Because this one I feel does have the popularity to just kind of, whatever category it's in, to just do well. Banshees, which is also opening very well in its limited run. That one is over here in comedy musical, which, as I recall, 3 Billboards, the last film by Martin McDonagh, also started in comedy musical, but then got shunted over to drama. We will see if Banshees suffers the same fate. Right now, I haven't comedy musical, but and Gold Derby does as well. But I would not fall over and die of shock if that one does switch, in a week or two, and we. Or even 3 or 4 weeks, and then we're kind of last minute, like, oh, now we got to scramble and fit Colin Farrell into Best Actor Drama. We got to fit this film probably into Best Picture. We got to, do a couple other things. Babylon, at least based on the trailer, comedy musical seems to be where that one's going to end up. And even though, again, I am almost dreading this film based off that first trailer, which was, again, not for me at all. We'll see. But I feel right now it's a safe bet. And then Glass Onion. I think Glass Onion is that 4th one that everybody, for the most part, I think has getting nominated here. And by the way, I don't think we talked about it last time, but I believe it had been announced. But AMC Theaters and I think one other chain are going to play Glass Onion the week of Thanksgiving, or opening the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which is what the first Knives Out did. Obviously, that was theatrical only at the time from Lionsgate. But this one will play exclusively in theaters, at least with AMC Theaters. And I thought there was one other chain, but I can't remember what it is now. It will play exclusively in theaters for 1 week, and then it will eventually debut on Netflix later in December. So that's an interesting. We'll see how that affects stuff. Personally, I really, really enjoyed the first one, and seeing it on the big screen. And for me, I saw it actually a week early before it got released. That was a cool experience. And I really was not happy when they said, oh, Netflix is taking up the sequels. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, come on, Lionsgate. You couldn't nail down a deal with Rian Johnson or with anything with that? Because these movies deserve to be seen on the big screen. And again, this one, the reviews I think are maybe not quite as good as the first Knives Out, but it's not quite up to that high level, but it seems to be like in the neighborhood for sure. So I am looking forward to seeing that one for sure. And for my 5th place pick right now, I'm going to go with Weird, the Al Yankovic story. I have one other nomination that film is going to get, in my predictions, at least at this point. This just seems like one, it's hitting in November, opening in November. That's a pretty good time to kind of sit with the voters and for them to like it. And again, this feels like one, maybe more so when you had a smaller voting group, with which HFPA. But I feel like this is one where it's like, if enough voters watch it and it tickles their funny bone, they'll put it in. I get that feeling. Here. That being said, there are a few other choices here in comedy musical that could come through and could very easily land a nomination. The first one I'll go to, actually, it's not very high in the odds right now in Gold Derby, but Ticket to Paradise. Not only did it have a really good counter-programming box office result from this last weekend, what was it, almost 17 million? For a film that, for me at least, I didn't see a lot of advertising on it. That was definitely one that got to 17 million or almost 17 million off the star power, which is, again, something you just do not see very often these days. I guess you could argue Dwayne Johnson with Black Adam as well, even though it's not as high known a DC character. But that one was like one of the best openings, or the best opening of his career for a solo-led film by him. So I guess you could argue that one, but still, even so, you could say, well, both films in the last weekend did that. So Ticket to Paradise, I would actually say that one could just get across the board, could get the 2 actors in, and could get picture. I would not fall over in shock with that. White Noise, I think, has a possibility of getting in here. Noah Baumbach has gotten some success with the Globes before. Nope, I think, is still alive. Matilda from Netflix, which the trailer was not terrific in my opinion. It's okay. I'll probably end up seeing it still, but I might not rush out to see it. That could land. The greatest beer run ever, maybe, even though it seems to have landed and then it's kind of been forgotten already. Bros is an interesting one because I don't think it's gonna get anything, and that's not entirely based off of the box office reception. Having not seen it, and really just based off, without getting into the whole conversation of why is it failing in the box office and stuff, is straight America to blame for the box office stuff, without getting into that whole can of peas. For myself, I don't really view myself as somebody who's a target audience for this film. The trailers that played and the ads that I saw on TV and stuff, none of them really grabbed me. I'm not really a rom-com guy anyways all the time, so it was going to be a hard sell for me just in that respect, let alone take away the fact that it's a same-sex relationship in the film, at the center of the film. Also, I just don't know how the voters are going to react to some of the press that's gone on around it. Not only, not doing very well at the box office and disappointing, but also, the claims from some of the filmmakers and the actors that that are pretty much like kind of going off the handle on, this is just because America's not ready for this and we're blaming straight America for not going out to see the film and stuff. And it's like, I don't know how that's going to play with voters and stuff. Plus, it was a kind of mid-September, not even hardly late September release. Especially when we get later into the season, its chances are going to fall, further and further as it was an early release. Again, like we said with Woman King, that one I believe came out, if not the same weekend, around the same time, maybe a week or two apart. That one, generally speaking, I'm like, okay, that one might still have a chance. But Bros, I'm like, even though it came out about the same time, something tells me that's not going to stick around in the memory of the HFPA. So I don't have that one in. Let's see, did I say the menu yet? That one, it's running in comedy musical, but again, the ads kind of put it as a thriller, so I don't know if that one's going to stick around. Amsterdam, nope, see ya. That one, yeah, not only the box office, but the critical reception too. It just, oof. Amsterdam, that was one I was maybe going to see as well, but I'll see if I can get around to it. Time is limited here, so I don't know if I'll get to it before it goes on streaming somewhere. I guess maybe Disney Plus? I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So now we'll go over to the director category. Steven Spielberg I have out front. The Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I have Sarah Polley in for Women Talking. Damien Chazelle for Babylon. And I'm putting Martin, if I can not be tongue-tied, Martin McDonagh in for for Banshees. I just feel, with him especially, I'm like, he got in for 3 Billboards. He got in pretty much everywhere he could for director that year, and then just was MIA on Oscar morning in the director category. I feel like this is a film that is, it's going to get 1 or 2 of those. It might not be as strong at the Oscars, might not be as strong when we get to DGA for that film, but we'll see. Todd Field for Tar, especially if that one does land a picture nomination, I would say that one's really close. Baz Luhrmann, I would say, is not totally out of left field pick. James Cameron could get in here. That'd be a weird one. I think Avatar again would have to get a Best Picture nomination if James Cameron's going to get in. I don't see them nominating Cameron and then not nominating the film. Gina Price Bythewood for The Woman King has a few votes here. Again, some have Joseph Kosinski for Top Gun. I don't see that one happening. And then probably the last one I'll point to is Darren Aronofsky for The Whale, but again, I'm not super enthusiastic about that one in the directing category, having a really good shot or anything. Okay, in the acting categories, for Best Actor Drama, Brendan Fraser's my early pick here. Hugh Jackman for The Son, Bill Nighy for Living, Austin Butler, I do have him in right now for Elvis, again, presuming it gets in for that. And in 5th place, most everybody seems to have Tom Cruise here. Here's my theory. They don't go Tom Cruise, Timothée Chalamet gets in for Bones and All. I skip Tom Cruise, even though it would make sense. It's a film that I have in for picture. Don't forget, Tom Cruise was very vocal, and it made a lot of headlines here last year when that, I forget, was it New York Times or LA Times? I believe it was LA Times. When that article came out about the Globes and about their voting body and the makeup of it and how it, all the demographics of it and stuff, and how there were no black voters in it and stuff. Tom Cruise, I can't remember. It's funny. I can't remember now. Did he say he threw away or he returned? I believe he returned all 3 of his Golden Globe wins, the statues or statuettes or whatever, to the HFPA. He's like, I don't need them. I don't want them anymore. Based off of that and that alone, I'm saying they're not going to nominate him for Top Gun. We'll see. We'll see if there's a hey, we're paying, we're making up for past dues type thing. Then he can get in. Don't forget Tom Cruise. Otherwise, in his career, a lot of nominations from him. Whether he was a strong Oscar front runner or player or not, he would get in for a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, let's really quick. I was gonna double check this beforehand. Here we go. Because if I remember, I looked at it once. I'm like, I thought he had come close. If not, he had cracked double digits as far as nominations. But no, he's got 7 acting nominations from the Golden Globes, and I believe that's it. Risky Business, Born on the 4th of July, he won his first one for that. A Few Good Men, Jerry Maguire, he won a Globe for that. Magnolia, he won a Globe for that. Last Samurai, and Tropic Thunder. Yeah, Tropic Thunder, believe it or not. So 7 nominations. So obviously, aside from maybe Hugh Jackman, no, not even close. Hugh Jackman has like 2 nominations, I think, from the Globes. Tom Cruise is clearly would be the most nominated of the bunch if he gets in and get his 8th nomination. So, but again, just for that, I don't have him in. Otherwise, in this category, I feel like it's kind of empty. A few people are going with Gabriel LaBelle for The Fabelmans. Will Smith possibly for Emancipation, but after everything with the slap last year, we'll just see if he's in the doghouse for a little bit. Not just at the Globes, at the Oscars where he's the whole thing came down, but we'll see if there's any other kind of thing that happens with that. But really, otherwise, it's kind of thin right now. Let's see. Going over to actress in drama, Cate Blanchett's my leader here, followed by Michelle Williams. Here's Viola Davis for The Woman King. Olivia Colman I have in for Empire of Light, and then Danielle Deadwyler for Till. So I have those 5 there. Here's another one that could switch over is I Want to Dance with Somebody, Naomi Ackie. I could, again, very easily see that going over to the comedy musical side. And again, in that category, I don't, when we get to actress comedy musical, we'll get there in probably a minute or two. I don't know if she's an automatic win, but she is certainly more likely to get a nomination. Here, she's got to get over these 5. She's also got to get over Ana de Armas for Blonde, Jennifer Lawrence for Causeway, Rooney Mara, who's going to lead for Women Talking, possibly Taylor Russell for Bones and All, possibly Florence Pugh for Don't Worry, Darling. So she's got to get over at least a few of those actresses and possibly jump Coleman or Deadwyler or Davis to get a nomination here in drama. And especially with a film like that, which doesn't have a ton of traction yet, it is opening right around Christmas, so we'll see if it can get some early screenings in there, probably about the same time that West Side Story did last year, which was like the first week of December. We'll see if it can maybe mount some buzz there and get her in. Let's see. For the actors in musical drama, Colin Farrell's my lead here. He has won for another Martin McDonagh film in Bruges before. I can see him repeating here and getting his second Globe win. Daniel Craig is in second place for me for Glass Onion. I have Adam Driver in for White Noise. Daniel Radcliffe for Weird, the Ali Yankovic Story. And I'm going George Clooney for Ticket to Paradise. So, yeah, for this one, I think, Daniel Radcliffe, I think, gets in. He's enough of a name. It's a role that I think they'll be watching. So even if the film doesn't get in, I think Daniel's got a good shot of getting nominated here. Diego Calva is going lead for Babylon, and we'll see if Babylon gets that popular. It could get in. We've seen like what's his name from Jojo Rabbit get in. Some of the more lesser known actors get in for that. Billy Eichner is pretty high up here in the Gold Derby odds, but again, I'm not buying it right now. I could switch and put him in kind of last second. We'll see. But again, I think he was one of those that was very, blaming straight America and stuff. Again, not to say that that's immediately going to turn off every Globe voter, but we'll see if that did turn off enough of them. Or maybe it turned them on. I don't know. Let's see. Otherwise, Daniel Kaluuya for Nope, I think, is... he's got an outside shot of getting in. A Man Called Otto. The trailer's out. I haven't seen it, but looks like that one could be running in comedy musical. It seems like it's kind of an offbeat comedy from the way the poster looks and stuff. And Tom Hanks, again, don't forget, Tom Hanks is another one of those decorated Toms when it comes to the Globes. They really like Tom Hanks. And again, a lot of nominations where he was not quite there at the Oscars, especially more in recent years. He did get in at the Globes. Captain Phillips, The Post. I think there's one other example, but yeah, in recent years. But yeah, he tends to do well. And then possibly Hustle, which was out earlier this year. Adam Sandler's in that, and we'll see if that does hold. Just the way it looked, I was like, that could be more of a drama, but I guess they're running it in comedy musical. All right, then for the actresses in comedy musical, I have Michelle Yeoh out front for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Margot Robbie in for Babylon, I have Emma Thompson in for Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, Julia Roberts in for Ticket to Paradise, and I have Leslie Manville in for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which I haven't heard much about, but it feels like one of those, like a lot of Helen Mirren's nominations here in the last few years. And actually, I'm going to look. Does Helen Mirren have anything this year? I don't know, but I'm not seeing her name yet, but we'll see. Otherwise, I would say Dakota Johnson has Cha Cha Real Smooth, which I haven't heard a lot of buzz on yet. I don't think she's gotten a nomination before. Keke Palmer for Nope, possibly. Anya Taylor-Joy for The Menu, possibly. Again, if it ends up in this category, I don't know, but we'll see. Okay, for the supporting categories, supporting actor would be first Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I just have up front. Then Ben Whishaw for Women Talking, Paul Dano for The Fabelmans, Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, and then Judd Hirsch I do have in here for The Fabelmans. I did also put him in at the Oscars finally, and I dumped Woody Harrelson finally. Brad Pitt, again, has been angling to go supporting, so if Babylon does go over really well with this voting group, I can see him scoring a nomination. Again, Tom Hanks is a threat here for Elvis. Even though he doesn't have a lot of buzz at the Oscars, this could be one where, if Elvis just is their movie, they could put it into a couple slots here and there. Let's see here. Woody, I'll name drop him as well. Woody Harrelson for Triangle of Sadness, even though, again, that one... It had buzz early, but even after it's opened here, I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it yet. Michael Ward for Empire of Light, I think, is still one to throw around. Yeah, I think we'll probably end it there. For supporting actress, I have Jessie Buckley out front for Women Talking, and then Claire Foy also for Women Talking. Stephanie Hugh or Sue for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Carrie Condon for Banshees, and I'm putting in Hong Chow here for The Whale. Just on a whim here. So a few people are going with Gene Smart here for Babylon. Jamie Lee Curtis has a supporting role in Everything Everywhere All at Once. So kind of a bigger name could score here at the Globes. I tend to find that happens more with Critics' Choice for myself, just when I'm looking at stuff more so than the Globes. Carey Mulligan for She Said could get in here. There's probably one or two other ones from Women Talking that could score a nomination here. And yeah, probably that's about it. Unless they go with Sadie Sink, who I think I have it at the Oscars still, but she's dropped to 5th place for me. I don't know if I had her in 5th or not last time. And then possibly, again, if it is their movie, for The Sun, Vanessa Kirby or Laura Dern. Let's see. So that just leaves the screenplay category. Everything Everywhere All at Once I have up front here. And then The Fabelmans, Women Talking, Banshees, and then Glass Onion in 5th place. Babylon, I think, could score a nomination. Tar could score a nomination. The Whale could get in. She Said could get in. And maybe The Sun. Maybe The Sun. The Father did get in for screenplay. But again, that was a much stronger competitor, we knew at that rate. Probably that's about it, though. Okay, so that's it for the Globes. Moving over to Screen Actors Guild. This one I think I talked a little bit about at first. Maybe like just one of the other videos I just threw out, like, here's my 5 for SAG, or at least. Anyways, The Fabelmans I have out front, then Women Talking, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Glass Onion, and The Woman King for my ensemble nominations. So that leaves out Banshees, and I'm very, very worried about that right now. I could very, very easily, I feel like I need to switch one of these out. but I'm not sure because Fabelmans feels like an Oscar front runner, and generally speaking, outside of Marriage Story and maybe one other example that's not coming to my head right now, outside of that one, it seems like the Oscar front runner, Nomadland, also missed on ensemble. That was more expected. That was more expected for sure, but generally speaking, the Oscar front runner tends to have been getting in previous years. Coda is one that kind of surprised us, and obviously that took off, I think, after SAG, but and then PGA. But yeah, we'll see if there are any inclusions, something like Banshees, or possibly Babylon, or She Said, or Elvis, or The Whale, or something, possibly, that could kind of surprise us there. Not say that any of those are angling to be this year's Coda, but we'll see. So Fableman's out front. And then with that, I'm like, okay, then you kind of tick some of the boxes, Everything Everywhere All at Once, pretty diverse cast. The Woman King, mostly black casts. So it almost feels like every year there's one of those. Glass Onion, that's Netflix. They love their Netflix over at SAG, so don't forget that one. So it's like, okay, you kind of tick off a lot of boxes there. Women Talking is also, projected to be an Oscar, very easily could be an Oscar player as well. So it's like, okay, and that one has a bit, pretty big names in it. And it's a small enough ensemble that it feels like it fits. So we'll see. But Banshees also feels like one of those small ensembles that could just make it. So we'll see. That one is really close. Babylon will also have a pretty big cast. We'll see how the cast order goes and stuff, and we'll see how many actually end up in the nominations and stuff. Fabelmans, I don't think will have that problem. Women Talking, I don't think will have that problem. I could watch, I guess right now I could watch Everything Everywhere All at Once and figure out if that's going to be a problem. Glass Onion, I don't think will have that problem, and Woman King, I believe, also will not have that problem of, they have a big cast in it and everybody likes all the cast, but like Marriage Story, it's like, oh, you the way you list your cast, only 2 would get in. It's kind of one of those rules and stuff. I don't know if any of these 5 have that problem right now. Let's see. Black Panther, don't forget the first Black Panther won SAG Ensemble here a few years ago. So that's one. Generally, again, we'll see how it does after its premiere and stuff, and we'll see. Actually, its premiere is tonight, is it not? It's tonight, or it's in the next few days. They push it up. I remember that. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what else could bounce back here. I mean, The Sun, again, with losing steam and stuff, I don't see that one. Tar doesn't feel like a big enough cast. Till, I think, needs to get a lot of steam ahead of time. And some of its steam could come really late. We'll see. Now, don't forget, the Golden Globes are going to announce their nominations in December, but SAG is not till January when they announce their nominations. So if Till does well at the Globes, surprises us at the Globes, does well at Critics' Choice, and we see enough of the voters put that screener in, over the holidays and stuff, even though it doesn't sound like a very holiday-friendly movie, from the subject matter and stuff, they could like it enough that could get in there. So I'm just naming that one now. Okay, then for the acting categories, Best Actor, I have Brendan Fraser out front, then Hugh Jackman, Colin Farrell, Austin Butler, and Bill Nighy. Tom Cruise is, again, way up in the odds here on Mule Derby, and I just don't buy it right now. Adam Driver, possibly. Tom Hanks, possibly. Gabriel LaBelle, possibly. And Diego Calva for Babylon, possibly. But I'm not really... I feel like these 5 generally feel pretty safe. For Best Actress, I have Cate Blanchett out front, then Michelle Yeoh. Olivia Colman I have getting in, Viola Davis, and Michelle Williams. So I don't have Danielle Deadwyler in for Till, which is really like, again, I'm looking at this now, I'm like, ooh, I probably should. We'll see. I'll probably, because I have to lose either Olivia, or this actually could be, as weird as it sounds right now, what if this is a place where Michelle Williams falls out? Don't forget, there are times when you have those expected nominees in the acting categories that just don't show up, but their film ends up being an ensemble and it works out and they win a SAG anyways. The entire cast of Spotlight, no individual nominations in supporting actor or supporting actress, and that ended up doing fine. There's one other example and I can't think of it right now, but that can happen. So Michelle Williams, I think, is actually, I have her in 5th for a reason. And Viola Davis, especially if it ends up getting cast, I can see it, being one of those where they announce nominated for 2 SAG nominations. I can see it getting in for actress and then ensemble. I can really see that happening. So I feel like Viola, I have her in fourth. I probably should bump her up to third. I feel like she's actually relatively safe here. But yeah, Olivia and Michelle, I feel like, are the two weak links here right now for who I have in. Two categories left: supporting actor. Ki Hu Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Paul Dano for The Fablemans, Ben Whishaw for Women Talking, Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, and Judd Hirsch for Fablemans. So yeah, that's the same five I have in at the Globes and at the Oscars. And again, I would say probably Brad Pitt you're looking at. Possibly Eddie Redmayne, because that is a Netflix film. And again, they love their Netflix here at SAG. Jeremy Strong, I think some people like for Armageddon Time. Again, we'll see if that one has enough buzz when we get closer to nominations. And again, I would say probably Michael Ward. But I think Empire of Light, I think if it's going to go over well, I feel like it's going to grab not just Olivia Colman, but also Michael Ward, one or two places, possibly Critics' Choice. But again, we'll see, because critics so far have not been a fan of that movie. Okay, then for supporting actress, Jessie Buckley for Women Talking, Claire Foy for Women Talking are my two up front, then Stephanie Hugh for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then both Hong Chow and Sadie Sink for The Whale I have in there. Something feels weird here. For Carrie Condon, she could easily get in here, and especially if Banshees doesn't end up an ensemble. That could be a weird one, where it's like, hey, let's nominate the cast, but then not ensemble. That could happen. I feel like there was an example last year where that happened, actually. I'm going to just triple check that, because I thought there was one last year that was like that, where it got a bunch of nominations, but then nothing in ensemble. Is it King Richard? No, King Richard got in for ensemble. House of Gucci got a bunch of stuff, a couple things, and then it got in for ensemble. Belfast got in. What was it? Power of the Dog. That's right, Power of the Dog. That's it. Yeah. That was another one, kind of like The Fablemans, where I'm like, that one was an expected frontrunner at that time. And I remember I was, a little wary, because I'm like, hey, that didn't get in for ensemble. Don't forget what happened with La La Land. And it turned out Coda was our winner there. But anyway, Power of the Dog got nominations in supporting actress, supporting actor, and in lead actor. And it didn't get ensemble. So I can see Banshees suffering the same fate there. And let me go back one other year. Was there an example like that in 2020 as well? Not that I can remember. I'm looking over it here real quick. No, I don't think so. Nope, nothing like that. Nothing quite like that. No. So, but yeah, I for whatever reason, I can see The Whale getting 2 nominations, but not Carrie Condon. I don't know. Again, this is from a little while ago, but otherwise, She Said I have getting nothing right now, so I can see Carey Mulligan landing a spot here. I can see possibly Jean Smart for Babylon. And again, that one coming out late. Remember, SAG sometimes does turn on those late entries, and they just get totally let down. The exception last year was probably the one I was like beating the drum, like, this is not getting in, especially after seeing it and seeing the way the cast was listed. I'm like, it's not getting in, was Don't Look Up, but that still got in for ensemble. So, and that was a very late hitter last year and stuff, but it still got in. I think that's about it, probably. Okay, so otherwise, we can name drop Jamie Lee Curtis as well, I think, also as a possibility here in supporting actress, especially if Everything Everywhere All at Once overperforms here at SAG, and it gets 2 slots here in supporting actress. That'd be 5 nominations total. That doesn't happen very often. Most of the time they end up with 4. Most films end up with 4. And right now I have The Fablemans getting 4. Women Talking I have getting 4 as well. Man, that's dangerous. That is dangerous. I don't know. But then again, look back to a few years ago here. What was it? Was it 2019? I'm going to double check this because I think this is correct. I think we had 4 films get 3 nominations that year, and tie, or 3 films get 3 nominations, something like that. The Irishman got 3. Bombshell got 3. Bombshell got the 4, didn't it? Bombshell got 4. I think that led, actually. I think I'm thinking of and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood got 3. So that tied for second most with The Irishman. And didn't Marriage Story? No, Marriage Story only got the 2. Jojo Rabbit only got the 2. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something. I know there's examples where it's like films, getting the most nominations is like tied, with like multiple films, and it's been like 3 or 4 before. But yeah, but probably that's what I was thinking of is a few years ago there, the 2019 year, 2020, when going into 2020, you know what I mean, where we saw 2 films get 3 and then 1 film get 4. So that's dangerous right now. I'm like, okay, I feel like, okay, maybe one of them for Women Talking doesn't get in, or maybe it misses for Ben Whishaw, or maybe something else. We'll see. I'll give it a little more time, and I'll think these over, and we'll see what else could spring up there in some of these categories. But yeah. Okay, so otherwise relatively, compared to some of my other videos lately, shorter video today, but there you go. I feel like that's probably about it. There's always one more thing, isn't there? I think Gotham. Yeah, we didn't talk about Gotham Awards announcing their nominees. Real quick, I can just run through those real quick. Let's see here. For Best Picture, your nominees are After Sun, The Cathedral, Dos Estacinos, something like that. Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Tar. Don't forget there are definitely going to be some films here that are not eligible. You got a couple of breakthrough categories, but there's no director category here. For the acting categories, there's only Outstanding Lead Performance and then Outstanding Supporting Performance, which, we can get into the politics of that, I guess, but we'll see. For lead performance, they have 6 females and 4 males. You've got Cate Blanchett for Tar, Danielle Deadwyler for Till, Dale Dickey for A Love Song, Colin Farrell for After Yang, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, or is it 10 or is it 11? I think I miscounted here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. Paul Mescal for After Sun, Tandy Newton for God's Country, Aubrey Plaza for Emily the Criminal, Taylor Russell for Bones and All, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Supporting has 10 as well, and that's Jessie Buckley for Women Talking, Raul Castillo for The Inspection, Hong Chow for The Whale, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Nina Haas for Tar, Nomi Merlant for Tar, Ki-Hu Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Mark Rylance for Bones and All, Gabrielle Union for The Inspection, and Ben Whishaw for Women Talking. So, if we count those up real quick, that one is a 5 and 5 split, so I don't know. Again, I don't know. I guess it can be a touchy subject for some people, but I'm like, I think it's fine to leave it with male, female, just put them there. And I get it. If you have somebody that comes in one year who identifies as transgender and stuff, I get that's going to be a thing you have to see coming at some point. You have to prepare for that to a certain extent. But I don't know. I don't know how to handle it. These award bodies are going to have to figure out how they want to handle it. But that bomb is going to go off one day, and we're going to have to really see, because obviously, for the most part, journalism and the press and stuff, they're going to be very very explosive if they don't agree with whatever the awards body does. So we'll see. Let's see. Otherwise, we've got screenplay category 5 nominees here, and that's After Yang, Armageddon Time, Catherine Called Birdie, Tar, and Women Talking, getting the 5 nominations there. For international feature, you've got Athena, The Banshees of... Just Banshees. Forget it. Corsage, Decision to Leave, Happening, and Saint Omer, or I think that's Omer, possibly. Let's see, documentary feature, All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, which is our Golden Lion winner. I Didn't See You There, The Territory, and What We Leave Behind. And we'll name the breakthrough categories here. Breakthrough director, you've got the director for The Inspection, that's Elegance Bratton. Soft and Quiet, which is Beth de Arjo. Owen Klein for Funny Pages. Antonetta Almat Kujevanik, something like that, for Marina. Jane Schobran for We're All Going to the World's Fair, and Charlotte Wells for After Sun. And for Breakthrough Performer, let's try these. Anna Cobb, that's, I guess, a relatively easy one to start out with. We're All Going to the World's Fair. Frankie Corio for After Sun. Anna Diop for Nanny. Gracia Filipajic for Mirina, I guess. and Kali Rays or Rise for Catch the Fair One. Yeah, and Gotham, last year, I'm going to remind myself, they didn't really have, none of their 5 films for Best Feature got in for Best Picture. The Lost Daughter did very well here. Really, when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, Gyllenhaal still got in for Screenplay, though, for The Lost Daughter. Olivia Colman was nominated for Best Actress. Jessie Buckley got in here for Best in the supporting category. So there's a couple there. We did have Drive My Car win for International Feature. That one, for the most part, though, won across the board. Let's see here. Otherwise, Amelia Jones was our winner for Breakthrough Performer for Coda. And Coda also won for Troy Kotzer for supporting. So that one came true. Otherwise, I don't think anybody other than Olivia Colman in that lead performance category got nominated anywhere else, Oscar-wise especially. For supporting, Ruth Negga had a few bids for Passing. Marlee Matlin surprisingly did not get a lot for Coda. She probably, if that film had done a little better earlier, I think she would have been a shoo-in to get in, especially in the directing category and probably a couple others. But again, I think we've had that discussion from last year. And real quick, let's look at the year before that. So that would be from 2020. Nomadland was our winner there. Of course, that went on to win Best Picture. And then we had, let's see here. This was the last time they did, and they didn't do supporting at the time. They only did everything in Best Actor or Best Actress. Riz Ahmed was our winner there for Best Actor, who upset Chadwick Boseman. And then you had, really, Frances McDormand was our only nominee, other than Yoo Jin-young for Minari, that got Oscar nominations. But it's kind of weird. It's like, yeah, you do see Jessie Buckley nominated there for I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which was one that was talked about but didn't really get a ton of traction that year. Okay. Otherwise, yeah, I feel like that's about it. Remember, Gotham kind of goes to the beat of their own drum. Sometimes some of their stuff turns out to be predictive. Other times, it's not. But based off how everything did here, I think Tar is probably your front runner for feature. I can see it possibly winning for screenplay if it doesn't go to Sarah Polley. For lead performance, I would say it's probably... you've got a real fight here for Cate Blanchett, Daniel Deadwyler, and for Brendan Fraser. I think all three of them are definitely competing there. Michelle Yeoh, I would say, is also within striking distance. So I would say probably comes down to those 4. From what we know so far, Jessie Buckley, Hong Chow, Ke Huy Quan, and maybe Mark Rylance could have a bid in there, but Ben Whishaw as well. So any one of those 5 for supporting performance. But yeah, at this rate, it's a little early to say what's for sure going to win a Gotham, especially given their beat of their own drum style. All right. Okay, that's all I got this time. So we'll go ahead and sign off here, and we will see you next time.